So this is the last part of indicator 8, and in this we are going to be learning about commission and fees. And the learning target, I can use proportional relationships to find the amount of commission earned on sales and the amount of fees for certain services. Okay, so what is a wage exactly? All right, so there are so many careers in the world, there are so many jobs in this world, and when you are getting paid for your work, all right, so whenever you're working, in exchange for that work, you get the pay, whether it is salaried or whether it is hourly. It's a percent of the sales, which is a commission. So these are all different forms of being paid a certain wage, as you can see. All right. So, what is a wage again? It is the money paid to a person in exchange for their work. And that's basically what a wage is. And wages can be paid in different ways, hourly, salaried, or the percent of their sales, which is called a commission. All right. So, let's quickly talk about what do you mean by hourly or salaried or commission only. And sometimes you also have salary plus the commission. Okay. So when we are talking about the wages, we're talking about hourly. That means you get paid for the number of hours that you work. So let's say the hourly pay is $15 an hour. So if you work 10 hours, it'll be $15 times 10. So it depends on how many hours you are putting in, and that's what the hourly wage is. Salaried wage is, it doesn't matter how many hours you work. If you have a salaried wage, let's say $60,000 per year, so that is the fixed amount that you are going to be getting. It doesn't matter if you're working 8 hours or 10 hours or 12 hours. So if you're salaried, you will get that amount itself. Then we have a commission, as you can see. All right. These employees are paid only a percent of the amount of goods or services that they sell. Okay. And sometimes people are paid a salary plus a commission. And these employees are paid a small base salary. So there's a base salary plus a percent of the amount of goods or services that they sell. And so employees such as realtors, car salesmen, stock brokers, these people are paid a percent of the amount that they sell. So, you know, when you are paid the percent of the amount that you sell, that is called a commission. Okay. So, let's do some problems. And a realtor selling houses is in the real estate is called a realtor. And let's say that he is a realtor is earning 5% 5% commission on the sale of a home. Okay, so 5% commission on the sale of a home. And let's say the realtor sells a house for $140,000. Okay, sells house for $140,000. Okay, so how much is the commission going to be, or how much money is the realtor going to make? So, well, I'll show you the again two methods: the percent formula, and plus I'll show you, as a ratio. Okay, so if I have the percent formula, I'm going to write the part is equal to percent times the whole. Okay. And this portion, the amount that he is getting as a commission, A is equal to what is my percent is 5%. I'm just going to write it like this. Only because, I mean, you can write it as a decimal and multiply, as you can write it as 500 if you choose to. But I'm writing it as over 100 because when I look at these numbers, I know that those hundreds will easily be divisible. All right. So, and the whole is what? Times $140,000, right? And so then when I look at this, I know that I am going to divide by 100. So I remove two zeros and I remove two zeros. And so I am left with A is equal to 5 times 1,400. And I know that 14 times 5 is going to give me 7, right? So this is going to give me, for this part is going to give me 70. Okay. So 5 times 14 is 70. And then I have these two zeros that I'm going to add on at the end. So the realtor is actually going to be making a $7,000 commission on the sale of that one house. So think about it. The more the value of the house, the more of a commission the realtor is going to get, because if you're looking at 5% commission, that is pretty good. Okay. Um so let's do a problem where we are going to actually, I wanted to show you the first one really quick as a ratio also, because we've been doing a lot of that. So let's quickly do this in the form of a ratio. I could write the amount of commission. I'm going to make an equivalent ratio. So this is my amount of commission, that is my C. Okay. Over always the original, which is my price of the house. Okay, so this is my price of house, because that's what he gets the commission out of, is equal to the percent, which is 5 over 100. So this is my percent, goes this side to form an equivalent ratio. And then when I look at this, I know that 100 times 1400 gives me 140,000 times 1400, right? Because 1, 2, 3, 4, and that has 4 zeros. So 100 times 1400 gives me 140,000. So whatever I do to the denominator, same thing to the numerator, times 1400. And that's, see, I end up at the same thing, 5 times 1400, and I get $7,000. Again, either way is fine. You could have done cross products and then simplified, and we've done cross products also in the past repeatedly. So as you can see, if I had C over 140,000, right, is equal to 5 over 100. 100 times C, this is 100. C is equal to 5 times 140,000. And then using my properties of equality, the opposite of multiplication is the division property of equality. Divide both sides by 100. So therefore my commission is this and this gone. 5 times 1400, that's what's left, and I get $7,000. So no matter which method you use, you will always end up with exactly the same answer. Okay, so I just wanted to show you all the methods that it's possible to solve these problems. Okay, so this entire indicator is the same methods that are being used. Okay, so let's do another problem. In this problem, okay, Angie works in a jewelry store and earns a 6.25% commission. 6.25% commission. Okay, so at a jewelry store, Angie is earning a 6.25% commission on every piece of jewelry she sells. How much commission does she earn for selling a ring that costs $1,300? Okay, so the ring is costing $1,300. So let's see how much commission she is going to make with this amount that she is selling. Okay, so Once again, I am going to use the percentage method, but then I'm also going to show you other methods of ratio reasoning and properties of operations, which we have done in the past. And no matter which method you use, you will end up with exactly the same answer. Okay? So, if I use the percent formula, A is equal to PW. I'm trying to find the part. Okay, so this is equal to percent, and I'm going to write it as fraction over 100, because I know when I look at 1300, it is easy for me to simplify, times the whole, which is 1300. Okay, that means over 1, right? So when I simplify, I can simplify from the numerator to the denominator, anything, right? So when I'm multiplying fractions, so 100 and 100, that means I have divided both these by 100, and that has got rid of the zeros. And now all I have to do is multiplication. And when I multiply 6 and 2500 times 13, here I have 2 digits, 0 digits, total amount is 2. 3 times 5 is 15, carry over 1. 3 times 2 is 6, plus 1 is 7. 3 times 6 is 18. Okay, so I get this part. And then I go to the next, I next is 0. 1 times 5 is 5, 1 times 2 is 2, and 1 times 6 is 6. So now when I add, I have 5, 7 plus 5, 12, and then I have 8 plus 2, 10 plus 1, 11, 6 plus 1, 7, and this is going to give me 8. All right, and then 2 digits, so 1, 2 to the left. So the commission that is being earned for this is going to be $81.25 is what Angie is going to be getting as her commission. All right, now let me show you the one where we're going to write a proportion and solve using ratio reasoning. So I am going to call commission C. So C, which is the commission, all right, over the cost of the ring, which is $1,300. So this is the commission. Okay, this is the cost of ring, is equal to the percent. And what is the percent? It is 6.25 over 100. So this is my percent over here. And I know that 100 times 13 gives me 1300, right? So same way, whatever I do to the denominator, I do exactly the same thing to the numerator. So times 6 and 2500 times 13. So look, we end up at exactly the same thing. So when I do 6 and 2500 times 13, I am going to get $81.25. Okay, I can definitely do cross products also. And then that would be 100C over 8,125 if I was multiplying this way, and divided by 100 again gives me my $81.25. All right. The other way to do this is to again use the properties of operations. And basically, again, what is that? I am going to, let me try to move this a little bit this way so that you can see. All right. So properties of operations, again, I am going to write out the same thing, which is C, which is the commission, all right, over the cost of the ring, which is 1300, is equal to my percent, which is 6.25%. And then what I'm going to do with this is I am going to change my percent to a decimal. So C over 1300 is equal to, look, 1, 2. So this goes 2 to the left. And so my decimal is going to be this. Okay, 625 ten thousandths. And then now all we are doing is we are using the multiplication, because this is division. We are going to use the multiplication property of equality, and we are going to multiply both sides with 1300. So times 1300. Okay, and then this is going to simplify out as 1. And then what am I left with? When I multiply 625 10,000 times 1300, I am again going to get C is equal to $81.25. So no matter which method you're using, as you can see, whether it's here or here or here or cross products, whichever of these methods you are using, you are still going to end up with exactly the same answer. All right. Let's do one more problem, and let's look at this one where Caleb he needs to earn $1,200 each month. Okay. All right. So Caleb needs to earn $1,200 each month. To cover his living expenses. He earns an 8% commission, 8% commission on everything he sells. So what is the minimum amount he needs to sell in order to earn $1,200? Okay, so if I'm trying to earn this much, so let's look at this. If I look at the percent formula, I have A, which is the part of the whole, I have the percent, and I have the W, which is the whole. So it's saying that he needs to earn $1,200 each month. So we need to figure out, is that part or is it the whole? So obviously if he's going to earn, he needs this much, this is going to be part of a certain amount in order for him to be able to cover his living expenses. And his commission is 8%. And we need to find out how much should he be earning, in order for him to, how much is he selling basically? What is the minimum amount he needs to sell in order to earn that 1,200? So this is the part that we need to find out, which is the whole. Okay, so if I am going to write it out as a percent, A is equal to PW. I know I have A, which is 1,200. Percent is 8%, right? Which can also be written as 800. And we don't know what this W value is because he needs to earn 8% of the whole in order for him to get that 1,200, right? So now we have a one-step equation, and we can see this is a coefficient and a variable, which means multiplication, and the inverse operation of multiplication is division. So I'm going to divide both sides by 800. Okay, and this becomes 1. So this amount, what I should have, if I have 1,200 divided by 800, remember the divisor cannot have a decimal. So I have got to get rid of the decimal. I move it 2 places to the right. And whatever I do to this, I'll have to do the same thing here to the dividend. And so I'm going to annex my zeros. And so my number is going to be this now, right? So I have 120,000 divided by 8. 1 times 8 is 8. I get a remainder of 4. I bring this down. 5 times 8 is 40, and I get 0. And then I have 1, 2, 3 zeros, which I am going to put up here in the quotient. And so Therefore, Caleb needs to sell $15,000. He needs to sell $15,000 for him to be able to make that $1,200 commission, okay, each month. So this is one way, which is the percent formula method. Then you can use your ratio reasoning. And in ratio reasoning, again, what am I doing? You're going to write the commission over the whole amount, which I don't have, which is the amount of sales. And I can call that, let's call it A. All right. So commission. And what is the commission that the person has, which is 1,200. So instead of commission, we know what the commission is. It needs to earn that much. So I am going to write the 1,200 over here. So this is the commission. Okay. And then A is going to be for the amount of sales that he needs to make, and that is the whole that we don't know. Okay, amount of sales is equal to the percent, which is what? 8 over 100. So this is the percent always on this side. Okay. And so if I look at this, I know that 8 times 150 gives me 1,200. So I will have to do whatever I do to the numerator, I've got to do exactly the same thing to the denominator. And 100 times 150, and that is going to give me $15,000, which is the amount that he needs to sell. Caleb needs to sell $15,000 to earn a $1,200 commission. Okay, so let's do one last problem. Okay, and let's see. Sabrina bought some paper supplies from an online retailer. Okay, the retailer charges a $6.95 shipping fee, $6.95 shipping fee. Okay, or 8% of the total purchase, 8% of the total purchase, whichever is greater. So if the total purchase is $85, so the total purchase is $85.50. So this is my total purchase. Okay, so what is being charged? We also need to look at that. Whichever is greater of these two is being charged. The greater value is being charged. Okay, so I can do again, I already have, this is already provided. So I can do 8% of 85.50 in order to calculate how much would this be. Okay, so if I have the shipping fee, let's see, 8% of 85.50, how much that is going to cost. So A is equal to 8%. And what is, I'm just going to leave it as 8% of 85.50. Okay, and then I know that I can simplify anything from the numerator to the denominator. So I am going to divide by 100, and I can either move the decimal on the percent part, or I can even move it here. It comes to the same thing. I choose to move it here because it's going to be easier for me to do calculations when I am multiplying. Okay, so now, I mean, either way, if you choose to do it this way, you choose to do it times 800, that'll work also. You could have done 800 times this. But anyway, this value times 8, okay? Here I have 4 digits, I have 0 digits, total amount is 4. So 8 times 0 is 0. 5 times 8 is 40. Okay, carry over my 4. 5 times 8, 40, plus 4 is 44. Okay, 8 times 8 is 64, and plus 4, and I get 68. And then I go 1, 2, 3, 4, and I get 6 because it's money. I've got to round to the 100th place value, which would be till here. Okay, so this is $6.84 if I have 8% of 85.50. But if you remember what the question was, it said that the retailer charges a $6.95 shipping fee or 8% of the total purchase, whichever is greater. So if I look at $6.84, or I look at $6.95, out of these two, which is greater? This one. So therefore, the retailer is charging $6.95 for this problem. Okay. We can also show this with your properties of operations. Again, it's basically the same thing. I am just writing it as an equivalent ratio. Um, just showing you another method. So we are going to write our x, all right, which is going to represent the missing part. All right. We don't know this, but we do know that the total amount is how much? It is 85.50. So that is part of the whole is equal to 8%. Okay, and so 8%, which can be written as what? 800. So x over 85.50 is equal to 800. And then it's a simple one step equation where I have to do this is division. So the inverse operation is multiplication, and I am going to multiply both sides by 85.50 times 85.50, because whatever I do on one side of the equation, I've got to balance it with the same operation and same stuff being done on the other side. And so this gives me 1, and x is equal to, when I multiply this, I am going to again end up with $6.84. Okay, so this is another method. And then, of course, the second part of the problem has got to be answered, where it's asking which is going to be used, and the higher value, which was $6.95. Okay, so once again, please remember what a commission is. And so that is normally whenever realtors, car dealerships, etc., they are selling things, the material, and then they have to obviously their salary, not salary, but their commission is based on the interest that is being charged for the total amount that is being sold, and that's how they get their pay. All right, so all right. And that concludes indicator 8 for us. Have a great day.